I'm Christopher Zweig, and this week on CJ at the Movies, I review John Wick Chapter 4, the latest sequel with Keanu Reeves back in the title role, plus we'll have an early review of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves with Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, Sally Hawkins and Stephen Frears, The Lost King, and the Dradenne brothers' latest entry, Tori and Lokita. Let's take a look. Our first movie is John Wick Chapter 4, the fourth entry in this popular action series, which, like the Mission Impossible sequels, gets better and better at every turn. Keanu Reeves is back as John Wick, who continues to fight anyone who comes across him. The real villain this time is the Marquis Vincent de Gramont, a senior member of the High Table played by Bill Skarsgård, who wants John dead. However, he accepts an old-fashioned challenge. If John wins,
the table will honor its word. You'll have your freedom.
Under the old laws, only one can survive. Failure to meet at sunrise will result in execution.
Last words, Winston?
Just have fun out there.
John Wick Chapter 4 is one of the best sequels I've seen in which the action sequences are stylish, thrilling, brilliantly choreographed, and beautifully photographed, and it's not just the looks, but also the challenges and narrative that's given to the title character and his latest opponents. And it's massively entertaining the way it all fits together and has audiences wanting to see where John's story will go thanks to Reeves' versatility and acting. Ignore the fact that it runs for less than 3 hours because it goes by very quickly. Our next movie is an early review of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, and whether you hated the Marlon Wayans Jeremy Irons version from 2000, or you're a die-hard fan of the board games, or if you never even played them, or if you only learned about Gary Gygax's name on a Futurama guest appearance, you're sure to get a kick out of this one, especially when leads like Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez are both having fun.
On your knees.
Okay, chop it off.
Chop it off. Let's do it.
Oh, we got him now! You know what? I'm thinking they're probably sharper stairs somewhere else.
I'm no D&D expert, but I can describe them as thieves who want revenge on their former team player played by Hugh Grant, who has become a wealthy lord and stabs them in the back. So they enlist another old member, an amateur sorcerer played by Justice Smith, a shapeshifter played by Sophia Lillis, and a nobleman played by Reggae John Page to pull off a heist against him.
The bridge is protected by an ancient trap. We must not trigger the mechanism.
I may have triggered the mechanism. So, sorry.
Unbeknownst to the Lord, his acquaintance Sophina, played by Daisy Head, is a red wizard who has bigger plans than him. Do I understand all the game's rules and creatures and humans, if I can call them that? No, this is way over my head. But somehow as a movie, directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, it really had me laughing and entertained in a Knight's Tale meets Guardians of the Galaxy sort of way. Some of the special effects are impressive, while others help make the jokes hilarious, and it also has some sweetness and vulnerabilities in the main characters, so check it out! Our next movie is The Lost King, which is based on the true story about Philippa Langley, a Richard III fan who believes that William Shakespeare wrongfully made him to be a hunchback and a murderer. She knows he was a good king, so she decides to find his burial ground so she can prove to everyone of his innocence. Sally Hawkins stars as Philippa.
Do you have any books on Richard III, the king?
I know who you mean. We have 8 titles.
I'll take them.
Which ones?
All of them.
In the meantime, she's so won over by a stage performance of Richard III that she begins to see the actor who plays him. She believes she's speaking with the real Richard III, played by Harry Lloyd.
I know you're some sort of apparition. I've been trying to work out why you're here. I wonder if it's because you're lost.
Steve Coogan, who co-wrote this movie with Jeff Pope, co-stars as Philippa's ex-husband who first doubts her mission but eventually ends up supporting her. The Lost King was directed by Stephen Frears, and while this movie is not up there with his best movies in terms of its screenplay and lack of humor being labeled a comedy, it still has a good spirit inside to have us supporting Philippa in her mission to prove Richard III's innocence, and Hawkins can use her words without insulting Shakespeare. Besides, he was right about a few things. When we do see the Richard III fantasy conversations, they can either be flimsy or charming on their own terms. It's no royal masterpiece, but it is worthy of your time. And our last movie is Tori and Lokita, the latest film from the Dradenne brothers, the Belgian filmmakers behind such opuses as La Fond and 2 Days, 1 Night. Their latest entry tells the story of young African immigrants who pose as siblings in a Belgian city. The oldest is Lokita, played by Mbundu Joy Lee, who takes heat from the people who smuggled her, and her fake younger brother Tori, played by Pablo Schils, and struggles to get a visa to support them. Their best chance is to have her locked in a hangar where she must tend to the owner's weed farm. these two can't see each other for a while.
Tu veux des faux papiers? Je te trouve direct une solution. Maintenant, tu discutes.
On pourra au moins se voir le dimanche.
Non.
C'est mieux pour nous et pour toi.
Comment je vais faire, moi, pour appeler mon frère?
Tais-toi, ferme la porte. Chaque fois que tu dis je veux, tu reçois ça.
Elle est où, Lokita?
Faut pas jouer au malin.
Je joue pas au malin.
Lokita has to be depicted as a scared, stressed girl taking sexual abuse for money, which leaves me down, but Tori and Lokita is well acted by the two young actors, and their characters both have chemistry, even if they are total strangers. You can tell the game Tori and Lokita both get themselves in is dangerous and someone is likely to get hurt, but you also want to see them under the filmmaker's directions and moral and immoral decisions, so check it out. Okay, recapping this week's new movies, thumbs way up for John Wick Chapter 4, thumbs up for Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which opens next week, thumbs up for The Lost King, and thumbs up for Tori and Lokita. I'm Christopher Zweig, stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels, and please read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and download the new HD Radio app.